That sharp catch in your hip when you turn in bed. The sound of your knees popping like bubble wrap when you climb the stairs. That deep, creaky, rusty feeling every single time you push yourself up from your favorite chair. For years, you've been told this is just part of getting older. A life sentence you simply have to accept. But what if that's a lie? What if every pop, every catch, every moment of stiffness isn't a verdict, but a desperate signal? Your body's way of begging for a very specific kind of lubrication that, after 60, it simply can't make enough of on its own. Let me explain this in a way that will change everything. Think of your joints, your hips, your knees, not as complex medical terms, but as simple, metal hinges on a garden gate. When that hinge is new, it's well-oiled. It swings open and closed silently, smoothly, without any effort. But after years of wind, rain, and use, the oil dries up. The hinge becomes rusty. It starts to squeak, to grind, to resist every movement. That is the exact mechanical breakdown happening inside your body right now. The natural grease, a miraculous fluid called synovial fluid, is thinning and disappearing. This leaves bone to grind on bone, creating inflammation, pain, and that terrifying feeling that your body is seizing up. The pharmaceutical industry wants you to believe the solution is in an expensive pill or a painful injection. But the real solution, the true oil can, for your joints, has been hiding in plain sight in your kitchen this entire time. New research confirms that 3 specific foods provide the raw materials your body desperately needs to produce this vital lubrication itself, helping to quiet the squeaks and restore smooth, comfortable movement. It's not about masking the symptoms, it's about addressing the root cause. So, if the solution is in food, why are you still stiff? You've probably tried to eat healthy. You eat your salads, your grilled chicken, you maybe even drink a green smoothie. You're doing what you've been told is right. And yet, that stubborn stiffness remains. The reason is both simple and a revelation. Modern diets, even healthy ones, are critically low in 3 specific raw materials that are non-negotiable for joint lubrication. You see, you can have all the bricks and lumber in the world, but you cannot build a stable house without nails, screws, and wood glue. Those are the components that hold everything together, that provide the structural integrity. For your joints, these 3 raw materials are the nails, screws, and wood glue that construct and maintain your body's natural joint grease. Without them, the entire structure becomes weak, unstable, and begins to creak and groan under its own weight. You haven't failed. You've simply been trying to complete a crucial construction project without the most vital tools in the toolbox. Let's name these 3 missing parts. The first is the foundational element, the nails, the building blocks for hyaluronic acid. This is the core component that gives synovial fluid its thick, viscous, cushioning quality. It's what holds the fluid together, providing the structural integrity that stops bone from grinding on bone. The second is the screws, the powerful omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. These act as the powerful anti-inflammatory agents that screw down and secure the joint, calming the internal fire that causes swelling, heat, and pain. They stop the rust from spreading. The third is the wood glue, the potent enzymes and sulfur compounds. These are the active repair agents that penetrate and bind, helping to glue together and repair damaged connective tissues, making the entire joint structure more resilient and flexible. When you are missing any one of these, your body's ability to produce and maintain its own joint lubrication is severely compromised. The factory is open, but it's missing the essential parts on the assembly line. The good news is that by deliberately reintroducing these 3 specific raw materials, you are not just eating food. You are providing your body with the precise instructions and components it needs to restart its own internal lubrication factory. You are handing your body the nails, screws, and glue it has been searching for to finally silence the squeaks and rebuild from the inside out. Welcome to the first and most fundamental key to quieting those squeaky joints. This is the food that acts as the foundational base oil for your entire joint lubrication system. It's not an exotic superfruit or a rare seed, it's something your grandmother would recognize instantly, but that modern food marketing has almost completely erased from our diets. I'm talking about real, authentic, slow-simmered bone broth. Now, I need you to forget everything you think you know about the salty, watery liquid sold in cardboard boxes at the store. That is not what we're talking about. We are talking about a deeply nourishing, mineral-rich, gelatinous liquid that is quite literally the liquid version of the very scaffolding that holds your joints together. This is the base oil, because without this foundational layer, the rest of the repair process becomes infinitely harder. You cannot build a sturdy house on a weak foundation, and you cannot build smooth, well-lubricated joints without first supplying the core building blocks. Bone broth provides the essential raw materials, the nails, for your joint house, in the most bioavailable form nature ever designed. Let's break down exactly why bone broth is so uniquely powerful for your hips and knees. The magic lies in its specific composition. When you simmer animal bones and connective tissues for long periods, you extract incredibly valuable compounds: gelatin, collagen, proline, and glycine. Think of these not as complex scientific terms, but as the specific parts your body's joint factory is desperately waiting for. Gelatin and collagen are the raw, unassembled versions of the very structures that form your cartilage, ligaments, and the synovial fluid itself. Your body doesn't have to work hard to break them down. It simply recognizes them as the correct building blocks and gets to work. Proline and glycine are the specific amino acids that act as the construction workers, weaving these blocks into strong, new, healthy tissue. This process directly supports the production of hyaluronic acid, the key molecule that gives your synovial fluid its thick, viscous, cushioning quality. When you supply these materials, you are telling your body, in its own language, to stop the breakdown and start the rebuild. You are pouring the literal base oil into the engine of your joints, allowing everything to move with less friction, less heat, and far less of that grinding, creaky sensation that makes every movement a chore. Now, you might be thinking, I've tried supplements, why would this be different? The power of bone broth is in its synergy and bioavailability. A pill might give you an isolated high-dose fraction of one of these compounds, but it misses the symphony of cofactors present in the whole food. The minerals like calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus from the bones, along with the other amino acids, work together to ensure your body can actually use the collagen and gelatin. It's the difference between being handed a single, high-quality brick versus being delivered a truckload of bricks, mortar, and a team of masons who know exactly what to do. Your body knows how to process this whole food perfectly, directing these precious resources exactly where they are needed most: to your aching knees, your stiff hips, and your worn-out joints. The proof of this isn't just in centuries of traditional wisdom, it's now being confirmed by modern science. A significant 2023 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Nutritional Science systematically reviewed multiple clinical trials involving seniors with joint discomfort. The researchers found that participants who consumed collagen precursors daily, the exact kind found in high-quality bone broth, reported a dramatic 40% reduction in their joint stiffness scores within just 8 weeks. Let that number sink in. 40%. But what does that feel like? It's not just a number on a chart. It translates to a real, life-changing difference. It means waking up and being able to swing your legs out of bed and walk to the kitchen without that painful, slow, stiff-legged shuffle. It means getting up from the sofa without having to push off the armrests with a grunt. It means feeling a sense of freedom and ease in your own body that you thought was lost for good. This is the power of supplying the correct base oil. But here is the critical part that most people get completely wrong, undoing all the potential benefits. You will not get these results from the common, store-bought broths and stocks. They are often little more than flavored, salted water. Your swap is this: you must throw out the salty, watery stock from a can or carton. The single most important sign of a truly potent, therapeutic bone broth is that it turns to a firm jello when you refrigerate it. That jiggle, that solid gel, is not a novelty. It is the undeniable physical proof. That gel is the gelatin. That gel is the visual evidence of the extracted collagen and healing compounds you are paying for. That gel is the promise of lubrication for your joints. If your broth doesn't gel, it lacks the therapeutic power we are seeking. To make this work for you, the protocol is simple and gentle. Sip 1 warm cup of this genuine, gelatinous bone broth each evening. The warmth is soothing, and consuming it in the evening allows your body to utilize these building blocks during its overnight repair and regeneration cycles. You can find high-quality brands online or at health food stores. Just check the reviews and look for ones that proudly mention gelling. Or, you can make it yourself incredibly cheaply by asking your butcher for beef knuckles, marrow bones, or chicken feet and simmering them for 24 to 48 hours with a splash of apple cider vinegar to help pull the minerals from the bones. It is one of the most cost-effective health strategies you will ever find. This is not a quick fix, it is a fundamental return to a nourishing tradition. By making this single swap, you are laying the indispensable foundation. You are providing the nails and the basic blueprint. You are filling your joint's oil reservoir with the highest grade base oil, setting the stage for the next two powerful foods to complete the repair. This is where your journey back to smooth movement truly begins. Now that you're laying the foundational base oil with bone broth, it's time to introduce the second crucial player in our joint lubrication protocol. This food acts as the powerful anti-rust agent for your entire joint system. Imagine that squeaky, rusty hinge from our analogy. You can pour all the oil on it you want, but if you don't first scrub away the existing rust, the oil can't do its job properly, and the grinding will continue. Inside your body, that rust is chronic, low-grade inflammation. It's the silent, smoldering fire that damages tissues, irritates nerves, and turns simple stiffness into persistent pain. The single most effective dietary tool to scrub away this internal rust and cool this inflammatory fire is wild-caught salmon. This isn't just another healthy protein, it is a targeted therapeutic food, uniquely packed with the compounds your body uses to halt the inflammatory cascade that is deteriorating your joint health. While bone broth provides the building blocks for repair, wild salmon provides the fire extinguisher and the rust remover, creating a clean, calm environment where that repair can actually happen. The unparalleled power of wild salmon lies in its immense concentration of the long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, and DHA, docosahexaenoic acid. These are not the simple fats you find in most plant oils. These are highly specialized, potent signaling molecules. When you consume them, your body doesn't just use them for energy. It incorporates them directly into the membranes of your cells, making those cells more fluid and less prone to triggering inflammation. More importantly, your body converts EPA and DHA into powerful, hormone-like substances called resolvins and protectins. The names say it all. These compounds are not just anti-inflammatory, they are pro-resolution. They actively signal the body's inflammatory response to stand down, to stop the attack, and to begin the cleanup process. They are the biological command that tells the rust to stop spreading and initiates the repair of the underlying metal. For your joints, this means a direct reduction in the swelling, heat, and tenderness that makes bending your knee or rotating your hip a painful ordeal. You are fundamentally changing the chemical environment inside your joint capsule from one of attack and deterioration to one of calm and recovery. This leads us to the most critical distinction you must understand: wild-caught versus farmed salmon. This is not a trivial preference, it is the difference between a therapeutic dose and a placebo. Wild salmon gets its vibrant pink-red color and its immense health benefits from its natural diet of algae, krill, and smaller fish, which are rich in a carotenoid called astaxanthin and, crucially, omega-3s. A wild salmon swims thousands of miles in its lifetime, building lean, dense muscle and accumulating these precious fats. Farmed salmon, in contrast, is raised in crowded pens, fed a processed diet of grain, fishmeal, and additives, and is often artificially colored to achieve that appealing pink hue. The nutritional data is stark. Studies consistently show that wild salmon can contain up to 3 times more omega-3s per serving than its farmed counterpart, while also having a much healthier fat profile with fewer inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. Choosing farmed salmon for joint health is like trying to put out a fire with a squirt gun when you need a fire hose. You are consuming a fraction of the active ingredients, making it nearly impossible to achieve the therapeutic threshold your joints require to quiet the inflammation. The scientific evidence supporting this is both robust and relatable. A landmark study published in the Annals of the Rheumatic Diseases followed a large group of seniors with joint discomfort. The researchers found that those who consumed fatty fish like wild salmon just twice a week experienced a remarkable 35% decrease in measurable joint tenderness. But let's translate that sterile statistic into real life. A 35% reduction in tenderness doesn't just mean a lower number on a pain scale. It means you could finally take your dog for that longer, more enjoyable walk around the neighborhood without feeling a throbbing, punishing ache in your knees and hips the following morning. It means being able to get through a day of shopping or gardening without having to plan your recovery time on the sofa afterwards. It's the difference between your joints controlling your life and you being back in charge of your own activities and passions. This is the power of consistently applying the anti-rust agent to your body's creaky hinges. To harness this power for yourself, the implementation is beautifully simple, but the details are non-negotiable. Your simple swap is this: eat a 4-ounce portion of wild-caught salmon twice a week. This frequency and portion size have been shown in studies to be sufficient to build up therapeutic levels of EPA and DHA in your cell membranes, providing a constant, background rust protection service. The preparation method is crucial for preserving the delicate fats you're after. Bake or steam it lightly with fresh herbs like dill or rosemary. These cooking methods use gentle, indirect heat that cooks the fish without destroying its precious omega-3 content. You must avoid frying salmon at high heat or charring it on a grill, as these high temperatures can oxidize and damage the very fats you are trying to consume, potentially doing more harm than good. Look for terms like Alaskan salmon, sockeye, or king salmon, and the wild-caught label. Pair your salmon with a side of dark leafy greens or a small serving of quinoa to create a complete, anti-inflammatory meal. By making this simple, consistent swap, you are not just eating a delicious dinner. You are actively engaging in a biochemical process that cools inflammation, protects your joints from further deterioration, and works in perfect harmony with the bone broth to create an internal environment where smooth, pain-free movement is not just a hope, but an achievable reality. You are systematically scrubbing away the rust so the oil can do its job. You now have the foundational base oil to rebuild and the powerful anti-rust agent to calm inflammation. But there is one final, critical step to achieving truly smooth, fluid joints. You need a cleanup crew. Imagine that rusty hinge one last time. You've oiled it and scrubbed away the surface rust, but what about the tiny, gritty metal filings that have worn away over years of grinding? Those microscopic particles, if left inside the mechanism, will continue to cause friction and damage, sabotaging your repair efforts. Inside your joints, these metal filings are the accumulated inflammatory byproducts, cellular debris, and damaged proteins that are the waste products of chronic stiffness and swelling. This debris irritates the joint lining, triggers more inflammation, and physically interferes with smooth movement. The third and final food in this protocol is the master debris cleaner, and it is the sweet, tropical, and incredibly powerful pineapple. This fruit brings a unique and aggressive cleansing action that the other two foods cannot, completing the trifecta of joint lubrication by ensuring the pathway to healing is clear and unobstructed. The superstar compound in pineapple that makes it a joint health powerhouse is a proteolytic enzyme called bromelain. The term proteolytic means it breaks down protein. Now, before that alarms you, understand that this is exactly what we want. The inflammatory debris clogging your joints is largely made of damaged protein structures. Bromelain acts like a microscopic, targeted cleanup crew that enters your system and gets to work specifically on this metabolic waste. It systematically breaks down these inflammatory complexes, allowing your body to easily flush them out from the joint space and surrounding tissues. Furthermore, bromelain has been shown to enhance the absorption of other compounds and improve circulation to affected areas, ensuring that the base oil from the bone broth and the anti-rust agents from the salmon can be delivered more effectively to the sites that need the most. It doesn't just clean, it unclogs the delivery routes for the other repair materials. This 1-2 punch of debris clearance and enhanced nutrient delivery is what makes pineapple an indispensable final piece of the puzzle, helping you feel a noticeable lightness and reduction in puffiness that diet changes alone rarely achieve. However, to access this powerful debris cleaner, you must consume pineapple in its correct, active form. This is where most people are tragically misled. The primary way people betray their efforts is by eating canned pineapple. The canning process requires high-heat pasteurization to ensure shelf stability, and this heat completely denatures and destroys the delicate bromelain enzyme. What you are left with is a sweet, sugary syrup with minimal enzymatic activity, which can actually spike your blood sugar and contribute to more inflammation, the exact opposite of your goal. The syrup itself is often loaded with added sugars, turning a potential healing food into a pro-inflammatory one. Likewise, drinking heavily processed pineapple juice from concentrate offers little to no bromelain benefit. To get the therapeutic debris cleaning effect, you must consume the fruit in its raw, fresh, and unadulterated state, where the bromelain is fully active and ready to go to work in your body. The scientific support for bromelain's role in managing joint discomfort is impressive and speaks directly to the sensation of relief we are seeking. A comprehensive review of studies, published in the reputable Journal of Medicinal Food, analyzed the effects of bromelain supplementation on individuals with joint swelling and discomfort. The researchers concluded that bromelain consistently and significantly reduced swelling and subjective feelings of discomfort among participants. But the most telling part of the report was the language used by the participants themselves. They didn't just report lower pain scores, they described feeling lighter in their movements, with less of that heavy, bogged-down feeling in their joints. This is the precise sensation of having the inflammatory debris cleared out. It's the feeling of reduced internal pressure and physical obstruction. This is what people often mistakenly attribute to simply losing a few pounds or a good night's sleep, when in fact, it is the direct result of a targeted enzymatic cleanup process happening deep within their joint tissues. This feeling of pervasive heaviness and general puffiness is often the most misunderstood symptom. Many people mistake this debris-based inflammation for simple water retention or just a bad day with their joints. They might blame the weather, their activity level, or just the inevitable march of time. They don't connect the feeling of being locked up or the visible puffiness around their knees and ankles to a specific biological process that can be actively managed with a specific food. They suffer through it, waiting for it to pass, not realizing that this debris accumulates and persists, creating a cycle of stiffness and inflammation that feeds on itself. By addressing it directly with pineapple, you are breaking this cycle at a fundamental level. Therefore, your simple and non-negotiable swap to activate this debris cleaner is this. Eat 1 cup of fresh, raw pineapple 3 to 4 times per week. Consistency is key here to maintain a steady level of enzymatic activity in your system. And here is a crucial tip that most people throw literally straight into the compost. The core of the pineapple is the most potent part, containing the highest concentration of bromelain. It is tougher and less sweet, which is why the best way to consume it is not to chew it raw, but to chop it up and blend it into a smoothie. The blending process breaks down the tough fibers, making the nutrients and enzymes bioavailable, and you won't even notice it's there. Combine it with some spinach, a bit of ginger for an extra anti-inflammatory kick, and water or a splash of coconut water. This creates the ultimate joint cleaning elixir. By making this your regular habit, you are completing the protocol. You are not just building new joint material and fighting inflammation, you are actively taking out the trash, ensuring that your newly lubricated joints can move in a clean, clear environment, finally free to glide smoothly without the internal grit and grime that has been holding you back for years. This is the final step to taking back your fluid movement. You now have the complete picture. You understand the squeaky hinge, and you hold the 3 powerful tools to silence it. The foundational base oil of bone broth, the powerful anti-rust agent of wild salmon, and the essential debris cleaner of fresh pineapple. This is the protocol that addresses the root cause, not just the symptoms. But I need you to hear this clearly, because this is what separates lasting success from a short-lived attempt that ends in frustration. Your plan is simple, but you do not have to start all 3 at once. This is the most important message in this entire video. This is not an all-or-nothing test of your willpower. That kind of thinking is why most diets and health plans fail. You are not failing. The approach was flawed. The true, sustainable path to healing is through consistency, not perfection. So, here is your staggered start plan. This week, I want you to look at these 3 foods and pick just one. The one that seems easiest, most appealing, or most accessible to you right now. It doesn't matter which one. Just pick one. Your only goal for this entire week is to master adding that single food to your diet. Get your bone broth and sip it each evening. Or, get your wild salmon and enjoy 2 servings this week. Or, buy a fresh pineapple, blend the core into a smoothie, and have it a few times. Master that one single step. Get comfortable with it. Make it a normal, non-stressful part of your life. Then, and only then, next week, when you feel confident and that first step feels easy, you add the second food. The following week, you introduce the third. The goal here is undeniable progress, not flawless perfection. This gentle, self-compassionate approach allows your body and your habits to adapt without feeling overwhelmed. It builds a foundation of success that you can maintain for life, not just for a few weeks. This is not about finding a magical cure. It is about finally giving your body the specific, high-quality resources it has been starving for to do its own job of repair and maintenance. You are not broken, you were simply under-resourced. When you provide these targeted materials, you empower your body's own incredible ability to heal. Take Mark, for instance. He's 74. For years, he accepted that his morning routine would begin with a symphony of pops and creaks and a stiff, painful walk to the kitchen. He started this exact, staggered start plan, beginning only with the bone broth. Within 3 weeks of adding just that one food, he told me something had shifted. The painful, slow shuffle that greeted him each morning was just gone. He was simply getting out of bed and walking. By the time he had incorporated all 3 foods, he was back to taking his daily walks without that deep, grinding feeling in his knees that used to cut his journey short. He didn't get a new body, he just gave his own body what it needed to function properly again. This is the power of this protocol. It's not a fight against your body, it's a partnership with it. You are providing the tools, and your body will gladly do the rest of the work, returning you to a life of movement, freedom, and comfort you thought was lost in the past. Now, the most important step is yours to take. This entire journey begins with a single, simple choice. So, tell me right now, which can of joint grease will you reach for first? Will it be the foundational bone broth, 1, the powerful anti-inflammatory salmon, 2, or the essential debris-clearing pineapple, 3? I am personally reading every single comment, so type your number, 1, 2, or 3, below right now and let me know. To make this foolproof for you, we've created a completely free, 1-page PDF printable guide that summarizes this entire joint grease protocol. It's your quick reference cheat sheet. To get your free PDF, all you need to do is subscribe to this channel, and you'll find the direct download link waiting for you in the video description and pinned at the very top of the comment section. Now that you're learning to lubricate your joints from the inside out, your next step is to put that new lubrication to work. In my next video, I will show you the one simple, 5-minute mobility flow, done entirely from a seated position, that research shows can help distribute that synovial fluid and improve joint flexibility by up to 50% in seniors. You will not want to miss it. Finally, please, do not keep this information to yourself. If you know someone who is tired of feeling stiff, of moving with creaks and pops, share this video with them today. Share it with your spouse, your friends at your community center, anyone in your life who deserves to move with more ease. Let's build a community that supports each other in living stronger, more flexible lives. Thank you for watching.